Greetings, nerds, geeks, and fellow freaks. This is DJMK here, and welcome to another stream. Now, this is your first time joining into my streams before. Welcome, welcome. I know this is not my typical fare, actually, for those if it's your first time joining me on this journey. This is not my typical way of starting a video, but I feel like this is very important as a student myself, as well as a teacher. So today, in honor of March for Our Lives today, the people walking out as of 10 minutes ago, in honor of various high school and college students that have gone through this, I'm doing a Let's Play of Asagao Academy as my wish to the world that may we experience a world with less violence and more A's, proms, and birthdays. So, before we begin our Let's Play, let's take a moment of silence in honor of the students walking out today, as well as those who would no longer be with us. And in honor of this, I'll be playing Yoko Shimomura's version of Birth by Sleep of Dearly Beloved.
Thank you.
And that was the Birth by Sleep version of Dearly Beloved, composed by Yoko Shimomura and performed by the Tokyo Philharmonic. So, I think I was about 6. Yes, I was about 6 years old when the events of Columbine went down, and I think this kind of violence started coming into our consciousness. And then, of course, I think with the advent of the internet and also better news coverage, many of the things, I don't think this is a new phenomenon. I think we've just gotten more aware of it as time went on. But these things became more and more frequent. And I think especially in the last 2 years or so, it has really gotten to a high that seriously needs to stop. And schools aside, there are people who go through this every single day of their lives. And then there also are musicians and many others who would have been able to do so much for the world if their lives or their careers were not cut short due to gun violence. John Lennon, Martin Luther King Jr., Selena Quintanilla Perez. And then, in terms of careers having to be put to a halt, Gabrielle Giffords. I mean, she's still speaking out a lot, but I mean, I bet she would have been able to do more on the Senate floor had she had the chance. But this is why this march is important. To bring awareness to an issue that's long been in discussion and now needs to be put to action. So, I'm doing this Let's Play, as I mentioned earlier, as a wish for less violence and more A+, proms, and birthdays. Most of my fellow college students may have just gotten their right to vote or have not gotten their right to vote yet, but maybe later in the year. Whereas I already have it right now. So this is my promise to you. I am going to do thorough research to make sure we have the best people possible. So to those students, I stand with you. And to those who can't or are unable to go out there today, here's another way that you can participate. Support your peers. Call up any authorities if possible if something happens during the march. I've put a few contacts on my Twitter just in case. And of course, stand with people who support you. I support you. Granted, I don't have any orange on me right now, but but this is the best I can do. So I hope you approve. So, without further ado, let's get started with this playthrough. Now, this is technically more of a redo since I've already done a Let's Play of Asagao Academy, but this is back when my sound was not as sharp as it was now. So, this is going to be a way better playthrough. In terms of decisions, I think this might be an entire redo, so who knows what I could do this time. So anyway, let us begin, and hope I don't cringe from the various mispronunciations in Japanese in this intro. Let's start. Welcome to Asagao Academy. AKA Normal Boots Club.
Asagao Academy, Normal Boots Club.
So, let me load up the volume actually a little bit. So I can hear myself a little bit. Much better. Okay. So, Asagao Academy, Asagao Academy is made by Illuseed, and I know one of the game producers is PBG's wife, which is pretty cool. So that's why they were able to get the permission of Normal Boots, as well as I think some of Hidden Block to feature in this game. So the actual members of Normal Boots are in this. So that's pretty cool. So I first played this when this game first released, but I have, as you see, I only got to maybe like 2 or 3 parts before I kind of had to drop out of Let's Playing for a little bit because I didn't have the tech to do it. But now that I actually do, I can possibly do the entire thing probably in one sitting. So let's go. I 1000% do not remember every single one of my decisions. I remember the last one that I did, so let's hope that today goes well. Let's play. Chapter 1. The train made its way along the gentle curve of the coast of Japan, whisking me farther and farther from home. Across from me sat a boy, face half buried in a newspaper. He was deeply entranced in whatever article he was reading and hadn't spoken a single word to me, even when I asked if I could join him in the last compartment with any available space. He shrugged, nodded, and adjusted his newspaper without ever making eye contact. It had been almost an hour, in fact, and he hadn't once looked at me. Devoid of conversation, I took instead to counting the buttons on pretentiously lush carmine seat cushions. 1, 2, 3, 21, 22, and so forth, over and over. Now and again I turned to look out the window where the trees were blurring by. Sometimes the smeared green would break and reveal the quiet blue of the Sea of Japan. Eventually, its rapidity made my stomach churn, and I went back to counting the buttons of the seat cushions. 1, 2, 3... The train compartment shuddered around us. My eyes wandered through the boy in his jacket. It wasn't the school-issued blue that I and the other students on the train were wearing. Instead, it was a green, varsity-like jacket with an embroidered patch poorly sewn on the front. So you're a first year, then? He folded his newspaper neatly, set it in his lap, and looked at me with a half-interested gaze. Did he just catch me staring? Now that the paper was gone, I saw his face. He watched me through heavy-lidded eyes. And, oh, I didn't notice that he was blinking. Oh, okay. Wow, I didn't realize how much detail they put in here. His hair was immaculately groomed, his teeth straight and blindingly bright. But then again, I've been playing a lot more visual novels lately, so now I'm actually paying attention more. So, that's kind of nice. So, is this the menu? There was something about him, the way the light hit him, that made him look like he was almost sparkling? Me? He glanced around the compartment, empty beside us, and laughed. Oh, no, I'm not a first year. I'm a third year. The train began to slow, metal wheels groaning against metal tracks. The sudden shift threatened to rob me of whatever was left in my stomach, but I closed my eyes and took a deep breath, willing to keep it together. What kind of impression would I leave, puking on a student before I even arrived at the academy? The boy frowned. I picked at the hem of my cotton skirt. That's not possible. I've never seen you before. It took me a moment of mouth fishing to find a response. It's because I'm a transfer student? He laughed again. A transfer student, huh? We don't get many of those here. I removed my acceptance letter from the front pocket of my uniform. The paper, heavyweight, off-white, had accumulated creases from my reading and rereading, as if the words might have changed since the last time I read it. I got you, Hana. The boy took it, studied it, then handed it back to me.
I'll see you around.
Well then, Hana, I suppose I'll be seeing you around. He smiled at me as he picked up the suitcase lying next to him. By the time I hicked up a response, he was already gone from the compartment. I stared out into the empty hallway of the train. It was then that I realized he, having gotten it from my acceptance letter, knew my name, and I never got his. Great job! The train set out at the station, and I filed up with the rest of the uniformed students. It was early April, and the last frost of winter had come and gone. Well, it's great timing, because it's early mid-April right now, and we thought the last frost of winter had come and gone. Well, the frost did go, but the wind hasn't gone with it. The trees were already green, their leaves shivering and the occasional gust weaving through them. The air was mild, only a few clouds hanging in the sky. I walked around the road with a swarm of blue-jacketed bodies, looking at the little groups breaking off from the crowd. Everyone was buzzing so animatedly around me. Whoops. I held my suitcase tight in my sweaty hands. It was leather-bound and worth more than anything it contained. It wasn't far to the school, and I was, for maybe the first time in my life, thankful that what I owned didn't amount to much. My school issued black Oxfords. Click, click, clicked on the pavement. I walked this walk over and over in my mind. So many nights I lay awake, imagining what it would be like to walk from the train to Asagao Academy this first time. My new start. I always imagined that everything would change for me on this walk. That somehow, everything would be magically different. But as I looked around, I realized nothing had changed. I hadn't changed. By the time I reached the massive gate to the academy, I forgot all about the disappointment slouching in the back of my throat. The school, framed by the gate's twisting black metal, was just as beautiful as the glossy photos I saw in its pamphlets. This was it. Asagao Academy. I glanced around. The swarm of students gathered around the gate. Beyond it, tiny blue people bounced around the academy's main building. A girl pressed a button to one side of the gate, and the excitement in the air was almost palpable. A few moments later, the black gate, with great effort, creaked outwards and cleared the pathway. As the rest of the group shifted into motion, I followed along, a sheep in the herd. My stomach tied itself into knots. The crowd split off in different directions. For a moment, I panicked. A tired-looking man with graying hair called out for first years, a cluster of fresh-faced students gathering around him. Hey, look at that girl. I turned. A few feet away, a small group of boys were pointing at me and snickering. Pink hair? Are you kidding me? How desperate can you get? Hot shame crawled down my neck. Don't let those guys get to you, Hana. I attached myself to a group of girls, following a few steps behind them. In the distance, cicadas hummed in time to my shoes crunching against the gravel. My hair. It wasn't my fault that my hair looked like this. Luckily, I found myself at the girls' dormitory, a large sign on the lawn reading Primrose House. The building dwarfed me in size and sheer intimidation. How many students did Asagao have? As I approached the building, a red-headed girl lingering nearby caught my attention. I looked away, then looked back. She was staring at me. She walked over.
Oh, you must be my roommate!
Let me see if I can imitate this. Oh, you must be my roommate! Close enough. I eyed her warily. She was smiling and bouncing in a way that suggested her views on life were akin to a perpetual bouncy castle.
What?
Me?
Bingo.
Of course you, silly. Let me guess, room 325? I thought back to the paper I received a month prior with the list of all the supplies I needed for the year and my dorm arrangements. Yeah, that's right. She laughed, but I couldn't figure out what was so funny. Was she laughing at me? When I found out my roommate was a transfer student, I knew you were going to be a total main character. So I forgot about this. How much they break the fourth wall. I'm sorry. A what?
Mm-hmm.
When I saw you outside the gate, I knew it was you. I mean, look at that hair. I felt a lump forming in my throat. What was she talking about? She had to be making fun of me. I had spent more than 5 minutes on the campus and I was already being mocked. My hands began to tremble. Is there something wrong with my hair? Her face slackened from its amused smile to a more worried expression. Then she began to laugh again. No!
No. It's great. I'm sorry.
You know what? I'll let the voice acting speak for itself whenever it comes up.
We're getting off on the wrong foot, aren't we? Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I'm Mai Sasaki. You must be Hana.
I bowed my head.
Hello.
It's nice to meet you, Mai. I think in the first iteration of the game, you actually could change the name of the protagonist. Actually, you can actually add a last name. I forgot. You can add a last name. So that's the closest customization you can get. All your school books are waiting in our room with your welcome letter, and I read the envelope. I hope you're not mad. Maya started walking towards the doors, Drum's front doors. I followed behind like a lost puppy. Did you check in at the front desk already? No, I didn't. I didn't know I was supposed to. Good. They'll offer to have a staff member give you a tour of the campus, but I can show you around. We don't get many transfer students in year 3, you know. Oh, is that your only bag? Just the one? I'm glad I brought an extra bag of stuff to create our room with. I started already. I hope you don't mind. But I did wait to string the lights, though. I thought we could do it together, you know? She spoke quickly, the words bubbling from her mouth, and left me no time to answer until the end of her monologue. Yeah, okay, that sounds good. She held the front door open for me and I hurried inside. Girls filed up and down the hallway, howling greetings and exchanging vague niceties that were more often than not, "How was your break?" and "Look how tan you got!" It seemed like everyone knew each other. I followed Maya as she led me through the maze of students up 2 flights of stairs. Each dorm room floor looked the same as the last. Narrow white doors lining both sides of the pale pink walls. Thin gold numbers were tacked to the front of each, the numbers rising as we climbed. You're not missing anything with the campus tour. I promise. Mr. Saitomo does them every year and he's like totally dull. He just drags you around the entire campus and talks in that weird squeaky voice of his. I'll tell you everything you need to know. I smiled, trying to let this calm my nerves. Thanks. We headed down a hallway on the 3rd floor. Maya stopped us in front of a door number 325. Here we are. A faint smell of potpourri wafted through the room. The walls, like the hallway, were a soft, powdery pink. Maya ready to deface them with a tapestry of posters, magazine cutouts, and photographs. Some of the photos were of cats, but most were of male models and rugged musicians. A bunk bed, 2 writing desks with wooden chairs, a small dresser, and a mirrored vanity, all clearly provided by the school, were the only pieces of furniture in the tiny room. The top bunk was already covered in neatly tucked blankets and throw pillows of clashing patterns and colors. The bottom bunk had a single stiff-looking pillow and a thin cotton blanket that I didn't need to touch to know it was horribly itchy. I must have grimaced because Maya quickly smiled at me. I brought way too many pillows and blankets. I always overpack. I went to Italy over the break and Mom really got mad at me because I bought 5 bags. We were only there for a week. She laughed, pulled several blankets and pillows from her bunk, and rearranged them neatly on mine. A sudden twinge of guilt and embarrassment hit me.
Perfection.
There! That's much better. Thanks, Mai. I placed my suitcase in the bottom bunk and began to unpack its contents. Several changes of clothing, pens and pencils, empty notebooks, a few photographs of my father, a dilapidated stuffed rabbit, an old portable radio, and a small black box. Maya opened the curtains and the sunlight poured in. So, where are you from? I set the now empty suitcase and went to the bottom bunk. About 2 hours north of here. It's a small town called Amaririsu. You probably haven't heard of it. I said the stuffed rabbit, Mr. Bunny, on my bed beside a purple and teal throw pillow. Oh, did you go to a different boarding school, or...? No, I went to a public school down the street from my house. Public school? What was that like? Were the students mean? Did you have a lot of friends? I was into private schools. My parents work a lot and my dad goes overseas, so I think they stuck me here for convenience. Oh, hey, what's that? I removed an ornately patterned origami crane from the black box and was sitting on an unclaimed writing desk. Oh, this? My mother made it for me a long time ago. I set it beside a stack of thick textbooks, which I soon were provided for me.
Aww.
Wow! It's so pretty! I've never seen paper like that before. Oh yeah, the lights! Let me get them. Maya went down to her own desk, opened the drawer, and pulled out a long, tangled string of fairy lights. I thought these would look nice. Here, help me string them up. She grabbed a container of push pins, then pulled her wooden desk out of the chair. Wooden desk chair out and over to one wall. I did the same with my own. Together we pinned the lights around the perimeter of the room. How was the train ride over? Did you meet anyone? No, not really. I was in a compartment with some guy and...
What?
Some guy, huh? Was he cute? Oh, yeah, I guess. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't even get his name. Maya seemed disappointed for a moment, then perked back up. You'll have to point him out to me if you see him again. Okay. Once we finished stringing the lights, Maya climbed down from her chair and brushed her hands together triumphantly.
Yeah!
Done! Okay, now it's time for lunch. The food here is pretty good. There's this ramen place down the street from campus that's like out of this world, but the school only lets us leave campus on weekends. Maya walked to the window. We could go today because it's Sunday, and it's pretty nice out, but I guess you might want to go to the caf since you just got here. We could... She was suddenly interrupted by her own enthusiastic laughter. Oh my gosh, Mimi Santos totally just tripped outside and fell on her face! I saw it! Oh, is that mean to laugh? Maybe I shouldn't have. Oh well, anyway, let's go eat. I'm totally starved. And I'm starving too, actually. I just came out from the gym, so... She led me out of the room before I even had a chance to respond. The cafeteria was buzzing with students excited for the new year. The only people as nervous looking as I felt were the tables of skittish, wide-eyed first years. I stepped into line behind Mai, taking an empty plastic tray. We shuffled through, asking for helpings from the sulky cafeteria workers when we passed something that looked good. With full trays, Mai led me straight to a table in the back where a few students were already sitting. Mai sat down and took a seat across from her. Hi, Mai. How was your break? It was good. I went to Italy and Spain. Dad fell off a ski jet and broke his ankle.
Uh-huh.
It's better now, though. Oh. Well, that's nice. I expected to be introduced, but the girl turned back to her group of friends and Mai turned back to me. She began to assault her food with a fork and tell me in a practically minute-by-minute account about her fleeting romance last summer with a boy she met on the beach that didn't go Oh. Want me to come with you? Okay. Well. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I can't save here. Yeah, I can't save here. I'm gonna have to go until it goes to a decision. Okay, let's see how fast I can go with it. Let's see if you haven't been watching this, found an error on RMP. Anyway, I expected them to be introduced, but the girl turned back to her group of friends and Mai turned back to me. She began to assault her food with a fork. Okay, already got that. Didn't go further than a few salty kisses. I sat back and let Mai talk. For the first time since arriving on campus, I felt like I was finally able to breathe. I picked up my Brussels sprouts and studied Mai as she spoke. The more she talked, the more I began to notice small details about her.
Well...
She had a high songbird voice.
What?
She was dynamic, her face twisting this way and that into exaggerated expressions as she spoke. She laughed often. She imitated people in wildly unflattering voices which seemingly unrelated to her actual opinion of them. But most notably, she talked. A lot. I didn't find this particularly annoying as it filled the silence and she hardly ever asked questions that required my full attention. Just as Maya was rounding off a shockingly detailed account of the time she accidentally walked on a friend's older brother in the act of changing, a flash of familiar green caught my eye. I go ahead and stare over her. Hey, that's him! Huh? Who? I leaned across the table to whisper just in case he could hear me through the ambient chatter of the lunchroom. The boy from the train! That's him!
What?
Jared? Yeah, with the weird green jacket and swoopy hair. He just picked up his tray and was walking past us when something seemed to catch his eye. Oh, you? I looked up at him, suddenly realized he was talking to me.
Hana.
I met you on the train. How are things slowing down for you? Really well. I found my roommate and she's been helping me out. I gestured to Mai, who was thunderstruck. In fact, looking around, everyone was. People stopped eating to turn and stare and Jared at me. My shoulders bunched around my neck. Well, if you ever need any help, I'll be around. 3rd year, right? I nodded.
All right.
So my friends are in that year. Of course, they can't compare it to me, but I'll give them the heads up to look out for you. He flashed a dazzling smile, then winked. It's the least I can do for such a cute girl. Well, I'll see you around. I watched. A torrent of thoughts raging through my head as he took a seat next to a bunch of guys who were all wearing the same jacket? That's Jared! She tore her eyes away from him and looked at me.
He's so cute.
He's the most beautiful guy at school.
Oh, Jared.
I can't believe he just looked at me. I looked at Mai. Her cheeks were glowing an indecent pink. Why do they all wear those jackets? Aren't all the guys supposed to wear blue blazers as part of the uniform? No, they're allowed to. They're... You know Jared? That girl turned back around and was looking at me with sudden interest. Did I know him? I only talked to him on the train for a few minutes, so not really. We weren't friends or anything. Looking around, Mai and Scarm weren't the only ones who were interested. Everybody seemed to be listening in. They seemed so surprised when he talked to me. Maybe a little white lie couldn't hurt? Aha! Here we go. So here is the first save point, finally. And what? It's not letting me save. Yeah, this might be an update problem. I don't know. But, we've got our first into the game. I think what I'll do is, I think I still have some of my old save files in my previous version of Asagao Academy, so what I'm going to do is going to pull that up, and then I'll play those. So, for those who have played Asagao Academy before, you can totally tell me, but, I'll try to pull up the older version of the game that has my save files on it, see if that will help, and then I'll just play the videos to recap what things I did decide, and then we'll just play from there. So, for those who are new to Asagao Academy, check out those videos. But yeah, I'm gonna take a pause right here. So this is part 1 of my, my Let's Play for Students. So I hope you enjoyed it. Sorry, Ren P kind of acted up a little bit with this game, but hopefully I'll be able to continue on. So if you want to check out all my other stuff, feel free to check out my Coffee page. If you want to donate, of course, it's totally optional. In fact, you should donate to the other causes that are happening today, because each penny counts, especially for defending those innocent people. My Twitter, I most frequently update at DJMK for life. My Tonder size, also my Discord, my Twitch, my Steam, my PlayStation Network, and my Vainglory ID. As the DJMK off the air for YouTube, Mixler.com is DJMK Mixler for audio live streams. In fact, that's mainly why I did the Coffee page in the first place, so I could restart those. I'm very small way towards my goal. I just need a little bit and then I'll be good. But, of course, totally optional. And mahokanoichi.blogspot.com, which some updates coming up from my 2 convention adventures in CecilCon and in Philly. And of course, we're going to have a continuation of our Let's Play, as well as I'm going to be showing up in Universal Fan Con as just having fun in the con and as a Kickstarter backer. For those who want to go for it, more details are in the site. But anyway, I'm going to go. Thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for part 2, which should be later on today. Okay? May the Force be with you, and stay safe, and I will see you next time. Bye!